for the serious gamer.
Hey, it's Guns for Hire from NextGenTactics. This is our Ultimate Modern Warfare 2 Claymore, C4, and combination guide for Favela. Alright, I'm going to show you a couple of quick B-side Claymore setups. And this I'm just showing you there in case they rush B and they jump either from that building into through that window or try and come up from downstairs. Place a Claymore in here. You don't have to stay in here, but this protects this area here because a lot of teams or a lot of players will try and jump from the rooftop into here or rush in through here and come upstairs. And so that Claymore there will take care of any of the rushers that come through there or trying to sort of get a more defensive setup once for their teammates once the bomb's been planted. And it will nail both sides, especially if the one's jumping through the window, because once they're jumped through, they're kind of committed to that route. Another alternate place that you can do is right here on the corner facing in, although that's only going to nail the people rushing on the bottom there coming straight through. And then, of course, on the back here on A side, this is when you have players rushing down A, a lot of times players will try and rush through here to flank. So this Claymore is very effective. Now, if they're coming through here, typically they don't see. That Claymore actually gets me a lot of kills. So I would definitely recommend doing that one. And occasionally, if your teammates aren't set up properly, you'll have opponents actually that will jump on the roof above if they've sort of secured A, and will a lot of times will try and jump down off the roof there. And so what I've seen and what I used to use is a Claymore sort of facing that area, so forward where I am. But this Claymore here in the doorway is actually considerably more effective. Number one, it'll nail anyone sort of coming through here. I mean, if you don't place the one on the bottom, it'll nail them as they're coming up the stairs. But more so when they're on the top of the roof, they will not see this Claymore. So they don't have the opportunity to shoot it, and most times they'll just drop down. And that Claymore also gets me a lot of kills, especially if I'm playing in a random team and, you know, they don't know how to secure A. This Claymore on this side is very well known. I hardly ever use it, only because of that. I'll try and switch it up. But you don't want it on this side, only because if players sort of rush the left side there where I was looking at, they can actually see the Claymore and destroy it easily. So I recommend actually placing it behind the couch and facing the bomb. That way, when they're coming in, they don't see it. They're looking usually in the typical spot. They come in to plant, and then boom, they get a little cream pie in the face. Just remember, if you see Claymores in the same spot over several games, seems to be an atypical spot, don't plant them there. People will start looking for that, they'll start anticipating that, and then they'll be able to get rid of it. So be a little more creative. And this one here, you want to place one, I'm not going to place it. Place a Claymore sort of angled that way when they come up, because a lot of times, like I said, it's like the Claymore on the bottom side when they jump off. If your teammates get killed, even if you're defending this area, it's good to have that anyway, because if they come after you and you die, there's at least a chance that your Claymore is going to take one more of the enemy team members out, which will hopefully help your team. Now, obviously, when we're in the back here, this is offense. I'm just going to show you some quick offense Claymores that I use. Right off the bat, rush down here and plant your Claymore across this alleyway. If they're on defense and you get the rushers, which I don't care, I know a lot of you guys do it, but if you're gonna catch the rushers, put that Claymore there right on that corner, and you'll usually catch someone. If they have lightweight or even scrambler, then yeah, they may be able to bypass it. This is an alternate one because that one's starting to get used, or at least I noticed that people are anticipating that one more. So put the next one right on the corner there, and that one's effective as well, especially if they're going to try and race up to the up this alleyway here, because a lot of times they're going to try and flank, so if they're coming through there, and that one can be effective as well. I mean, there's always weak spots for every Claymore that you use, but there's always that one person, at least in my games, my Claymores always get a kill. Not every single time, but majority of the time, someone's going to run into it. And the Claymore right there is also good if you're moving towards A and you want to sort of protect your flank. Obviously, if they're moving up to the top, you know, they're going to bypass it. But these things, obviously, it's obvious. And this one's, that Claymore that I just placed there, that one's actually very effective. Because a lot of times teams will try and rush from their defense and come up those stairs and then come in through this way. And it's very effective at stopping them. Now, this next Claymore here is more of a defensive Claymore once you've actually planted the bomb at A, especially if you're going to plant the bomb at A and retreat back this way. It protects your side and allows you to focus forward on any enemy players in the bomb site. These are, of course, Claymores for offense as well when you're going to B, and you're actually going to be protecting your flank. Now, obviously, if you have the bomb, this isn't what you're doing. If you're playing the support role, which is usually what I do, then I set up the Claymores on the rear so that, we don't get flanked. And typically, they're not going to see that. I mean, even though you can see the red lines on there, you put it back far enough, it's not going to destroy the car, but it's back far enough that if they're coming around that corner, it should nail them. I mean, again, there's always ways around it if someone halo jumps past it. This one is actually a very effective one as well, and of course we're using the vehicle to amplify the explosion. So you want to put it slightly across the wheel well there. Now, even though the lines are sort of visible, that is not an atypical Claymore position, so they're not even going to be looking for it. The time that they could possibly see it, their eyes are not focused on there. Their eyes are focused on the left of that, right around that corner there, because they're looking for us, basically. They're looking for your team. They're not going to be looking for a tiny little red laser line that they might be able to see where the truck is. And then as soon as they trip it, boom. You get a double amplified sort of explosion. Normally they'll come carefully through there as well. Even if they don't, the explosion will magnify the sort of blast area. Well, if you manage to haul your ass to B and get the bomb planted, what you can do, because people look for people hiding in here, I usually place a Claymore there and then plant the bomb right in front of the Claymore. That way when they're coming, they can't see really either or. They will see it if they approach here, but at least it buys you some time. They have to screw around a little bit. And if you're sort of retreated to an area, and it gives you time, like say you wanted to climb up to that building, get a higher vantage point, it really helps out that way. Now, in terms of C4, you can be a little creative. I like placing the C4 on this side. And obviously, if you're going to place it there, this is where you're going to plant the bomb on that side. Granted, you can do the same sort of thing. C4 is a lot easier to hide. The problem is that you need to sort of be within either audio range so that you can hear when the briefcase is being opened, or visual when you see someone actually walking in there. Both C4 and Claymores are great because they give you an unknown presence. They have no idea where you are because it's the Claymore C4 that's killed them. Now here's a problem that you commonly come across, and this is, I told you before that the Claymore's on the other side and it's well known. Well, if that's the case, if no one's there or you don't want to waste time, a good trick, but is to throw your C4 through there, detonate it immediately, and move in. But you want to do it quickly, because if someone's in there, and that's their C4, they're going to be moving in quick, especially if they're still alive. Another common place for enemies to hide when they're on defense is in that corner. If you do it, it's really stupid, because it is common, and everyone looks for it. And then all you have to do is chuck the C4 over there if you suspect that someone's in there. Now, when I'm planting, I like to actually place the C4 on the back of the couch there, either on the side there or actually on the back. And then you retreat back to this area here, and all you have to do is listen. Even if they try and trick you by opening up the case and running, the second they open it, you trigger it, they're pretty much dead. Now, here's a common problem with that Claymore. Now, as you know, I said it's a common place to have it. If they don't have C4, and not a lot of people use it, it's easy for them to say, oh, okay, you know what, I'll just sneak on the side here and shoot it. But what a nice little trick that you can do with combination is putting a C4 on the ceiling of that. And even if they're a safe distance back from shooting that, the combination is deadly. Another issue, I showed you before with the Claymore on the side, or on this corner here. Someone with Marathon, lightweight, may be able to halo jump past it, or even Scrambler. What's nice is if you do what I call the two-way Claymore, you place the other Claymore within the field of the first Claymore. The first one clears it, or triggers it, and then it immediately detonates, or like a split second later, it detonates the other Claymore, and it gives it that multi-directional. So even if they run past the first one's the trigger mechanism, and then you'll see here a slight delay, and it'll actually shoot the second one forward. There you go, and that'll blast them, kill them every time. They do not get past that one. Alright, so we're coming up, another combination up at the top here. This time we're going to actually use amplified. So this one is a problem. If, they go run past it, yeah, that's great. They may be able to get past that blast radius. But if you use a combination of C4, place it on the tire there, you retreat back, and then what happens is if they trigger it, again, it amplifies. You've got what could be better than a Claymore, C4, and a vehicle explosion? Delicious. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. For more strategies and tactics on Modern Warfare 2, visit NextGenTactics.com.